Alright, welcome back anglers. You're here with Corey from Salty Veins. Let's get into this week's fishing reports and thoughts. First off, let's check out that forecast on sea breeze. And as we can see, on Friday, the weather moves in. We've got a low pressure front that's pushing in Friday morning. It's going to hit the coast, bringing rain, strong winds, and massive swells that lead into next week. And it's pretty much ruined any chance of fishing this weekend for the average angler. So this means we need to take advantage of the slightly decent conditions that Thursday night and get out there before we get battered by this weather. So snapper on the inshore reefs and in Cockburn Sound will be the main option for any angler wanting to try their luck. There were a lot of good snapper caught last weekend on the shallow reef systems up and down the coast. As always, burley and burley hard. I've got a new video coming out shortly on burleying and you won't want to miss that. A few tips and tricks and a couple of things that you want to get to make your life a lot easier. So I spent the weekend fishing. Did okay. Did a bit of fishing in Mandurah Sound. Caught some King George whiting and a few squid. A couple of skippy. Wasn't a fantastic day for me, but we did okay. The only issue with the King George was the blowfish and butterfish were really making it difficult to get past. And to get a good feed of whiting, take some patience and a bit of spot hopping around the weedy grounds into clear sand patches. That way you can get a few King George and a few good sized sand whiting too. So obviously fresh squid is going to be your best bait there. So as of tomorrow, they should be in a real good feeding mode in preparation for this storm hitting. And with the calm weather we've had today and yesterday, the water clarity should be pretty good. So that'll allow a bit of squidding in Mandurah Sound and Cockburn Sound. Now in Mandurah, you want to hug the coast up against the north side of the coast. That way you're protected from the northwesterly winds. Thursday's not so bad in the morning, but sort of Friday, Thursday afternoon, and then Friday, of course, you get your northwesterlies. Even Saturday morning, you can get in there. In Cockburn Sound, if you hug the west side of the island, and then along the rock wall itself, you can be protected from the winds in there as well, and it's a good chance to get a feed of cephalopods. So on Saturday, we've obviously got a big spike in the winds about lunchtime. Really starts to sort of peak, and I would advise against any boating options that aren't confined to rivers and estuaries. The swells that is forecasted for Sunday and the winds, I wouldn't be surprised if North Mole is closed on Saturday night for fishing. So if you want to try your luck at a land-based snapper, you're going to need to get out there Thursday or Friday night. And I wouldn't recommend fishing any rockwall Sunday night onwards with such a large swell forecasted. No fish is worth fishing in such risky conditions. So last weekend, the beaches produced a few mulloway and some really big tailor with that new moon and the good high tides. This weekend, unfortunately, we're not going to see any fish taken from the beaches with such a large swell and strong westerly winds. I'd be amazed if anybody could even get a bait much past the tip of their rods, let alone to hold in a gutter. The seaweed is going to be in tremendous amounts up and down the surf beaches for the next week and leading into next weekend as well, which is going to wreak havoc on all the land-based anglers. It's going to take a while to clear too, I believe. So we're about to experience some real true sort of wintry, stormy weather. And then once that clears, I'm hoping by mid to late next week, it should give us a really good following weekend, which means that it's going to be prime snapper time. They're going to be feeding on that shallow reefs. So overall, I think it's going to be a much smarter option to spend the weekend at home, doing some upgrades and services to the fishing gear, boats, 4x4s, and toys in general. And I plan on doing some TLC to the tinny that I've been neglecting. A couple of small mods I want to complete. I think this weekend's weather is going to allow me to do that. Don't forget, if you want to appear in next week's fishing thoughts, send me a pics of your catches via Facebook. I'll have the link to my fishing page below, and you can appear in the next video. We'll catch you next time.